that danger of getting caught should be there right away, the first second you get spotted. And they should remove this bureaucracy between howlers basically asking zombie dispatch to elevate to get some zombies to chase the player. And the zombie dispatch then tells them, no, they're not dangerous enough yet, you have to wait and chase level 3 before we can get the volatiles because they're in coffee break right now. So in this video I'd like to talk about what I think went wrong with Dying Light 2. When I say something went wrong, it doesn't mean that's a bad game. I think it's a very good game. And this video shouldn't be seen as some type of review that you shouldn't get it or that the game is a low quality game. The game is great. It's just that in one certain key area, it doesn't work as it should work. And first I would like to point out two really great things about this game, and then connect it to the thing that went wrong. So first, the first thing that I think is absolutely great in this game is the way lighting works. I think they do lighting much better than many other contemporary AAA games. For example, you have beautiful daylight. That's nothing particularly, I think, exciting for a AAA game. However, what this game does well is the way it calculates the lighting bleeding into areas that are not directly hit by sunlight. And this makes certain areas like back alleys that are not really reached by daylight look much more photorealistic than in other games. You can see that especially over here at the my cursor's pointing. You see that the facade of the building and the way that the way it bleeds off into this slightly bluish tinted fog. I think this gives the game like this photorealistic quality. Like it almost tricks you into looking photorealistic. And I'm not playing this on even the highest settings. I'm playing this in some upscale settings on a really old graphics card. Here's another example of indirect daylight. Notice here. This area here looks almost photorealistic to me. It's just the lighting is just, it just hits that exact point where your eyes get tricked and it looking like a photo. Like it's that subtle reflection, for example, see on the car door, that subtle reflection covered by slight dirt. This always gets me in games with good graphics when the lighting looks great and indirect lighting. I think that's a mix of ambient occlusion and some other techniques. And the first time I saw it when I played this game, like the half shadow behind the car from the sunlight, it's just like I stopped and just kept staring at it because it looks so beautiful. So the first thing I want to show you is it's about to become nightfall, as you can see in the bottom of the screen in about a few seconds. Now listen to this siren. Okay, can you hear that? That ambient music, you hear that? It's an ambient droning that's one of the key features of the audio in this game for me. When the first Nightfall, when I played this game, I was standing on the edge of now these runners have to ruin the video. Shut up, guys. Okay. And I was standing at the edge of a building at night like this. And that ambient droning, it sets up such a sense of fear. And I don't know any other game that does it so well. Now it's coming again, you hear that? And I think it's always playing when you're observing zombies from a distance and you're not in some type of action. It's like some ambient thing. Now, that's the second feature of the game that sets up the game to be such a perfect zombie game. First, the graphics, then the audio, in this case, the ambient sounds, or the ambient music. And the point I'm trying to make with this video is that the game sets up this great situation for a zombie game, and then there's one major part in the game I think that doesn't work as it should work, which is the fear of zombies. Oh, it's coming again. Because fear in this game, it's not really there. It's just an illusion of fear. Because fighting zombies is too easy. That's the next 2 points I'd like to make. Zombies are just a side thing in this game that really don't have the impact that they should have in the game. And the second problem is that the player is too powerful as a parkour person that can climb anything he wants at really high speed, even without upgrading all the skills. For example, in the skill tree, I on purpose avoided... Where's the skill tree? I on purpose avoided the things that give you supernatural skills, like active landing, where you can jump like 10-meter falls and don't take damage or take less damage, or farther jump. I completed the game with this character. And I avoided anything that extends the jumping and running abilities to superhuman things, because then it takes away from the gameplay for me. And I'd like to show you why I did it. So basically, let's say, for example, let's start with the key feature of Dying Light 1, which is the volatiles at night, I think. If you play Dying Light 1, the way it works is you would sneak around at night and it would be volatile zombies. And they would sneak around, and if they would see you, I'm not sure how fast they would run, but I think they could outrun you. And to get rid of them, you really had to be fast and use some obstacles so they get slowed down by climbing, so you can get some distance to them, and then get to UV light. And I remember in the first game it was absolutely terrifying. Even in the DLC where you get the buggy car driving through the landscape, they would chase you, and you would. I remember that scene where I went to one of the garages and I barely made it behind the fence with the UV light. It was such an intense gaming moment. Now in this game, for reasons I don't know why they did it, they sort of watered down that feature. I think by accident. I don't think they intended to make it less exciting, but it ended up this way. So let me show you how it works. In this game, there's no volatiles patrolling at night, just like that. Usually you got the howlers. Now when a howler detects you, he starts howling. And then he alerts more zombies. And then there's 4 stages in which it escalates and escalates until you get to safety or they get you. And fear in this case is just an illusion. And I'm going to show you that one. Okay, first I gotta find a way to get down. Okay, now I'm going to get the attention of this volatile. Okay, now he's howling. Chase started. Okay, now I'm supposed to be scared as a player and run for my dear life. Now, if I'm being a smart player, I can now pick any. I'm pausing the game to explain it. Now, I can pick. If I had a dice with 12 sides, I could take a six-sided dice and just multiply by 2. I could pick any direction on the compass right now, randomly. I can just run in that direction and I would get away from them. I don't have to use tactics to actually find a good way to get away from them. My climbing skill as a player, even with basic skills, are so good in this game, not me, but as a character, that you can get away in any direction. You don't have to think, you just have to run straight. There's no tactics involved. Like, for example, I don't have to think, okay, should I get up that lantern or that lantern? I can just run anywhere I want and I'll get away from them. Okay, of course, you have to get away a bit from them. See, now, if I'm just doing regular jogging without sprint shift, I can indefinitely run away from them, then they won't get me. That's why I can explain you the feature right now without actually having to think. Notice I'm not actually having to think of how I'll get away from them. Eventually somebody gets close enough for a slap, but normally you're completely safe from them by just running. That's why I can calmly explain the situation without actually getting killed by those things. And I think that's the first problem here, is that the player skills to climb should be much more limited than they are right now. See, I'm actually... come on. Yeah. I'm actually making an effort to not get away too fast. Because an experienced player would get to safety to UV light before the chase level hits him too. But the only thing that can get you right now is if you run into crowds of zombies and you can't avoid them. So you can just keep running forever until it's daylight and nothing bad is going to happen. Which means the fear of getting chased by them is just an illusion. It's not really there. What the game should do is limit the climbing so much that you as a player would have to tactically choose before you get in a situation, where is your escape route, which route do I have to take. But see, I don't actually have to think, I can just pick any way I want. And there's always something for me to climb. And I think it's a mistake the developers made by giving players too much power. Okay, now at chase level 3 I actually have to be a bit more careful, because now they can actually start to catch you. But the point still stands. An average player is getting to safety and playing on hard difficulty long before the enemy gets dangerous enough for that. See, that danger of getting caught should be there right away, the first second you get spotted. And they should remove this bureaucracy between howlers basically asking zombie dispatch to elevate to get some zombies to chase the player. And the zombie dispatch then tells them, no, they're not dangerous enough yet, you have to wait and chase level 3 before we can get the volatiles, because they're in coffee break right now. And you get what I mean here. It's a moderately engaging jump and run right now, where the fear is just an illusion. So anyway, I can keep this thing going until basically sundown, or my immunity goes too long. And even during daylight, I think fighting zombies, regular zombies, it doesn't feel like you're actually fighting zombies. Because what's the essence of a zombie movie? It's the fear of getting bit once by a zombie. That's the essence of a zombie movie. That's, I think, the defining thing. If it's not really a zombie movie if the fear of a bite isn't there. And I think those are the problems with this game, is that the game sets up this beautiful atmosphere, beautiful audio, beautiful everything. And then the whole zombie fear thing just doesn't work. And I think the way I would fix it, if I would have the ability to develop the game, here's what I would do. I would add a new game mode. It will be limited to sandbox outdoor activities. Because I think if you make a game mode that radically changes the way you interact with zombies, I think that it would take too much time and effort to rebalance the existing campaign missions to work with it. So I understand that no developer would do that, because there's only so much time you can spend on a game to develop it. Because the money and resources and all that. So what I would do is add a new, call it classic zombie game mode or something. And limit it only to outdoor sandbox activities, like looting stores, but no story missions, okay? And don't care for the balance of it, whether it's difficult or too hard for the player. But what I would do is then make a single zombie bite lethal or almost lethal. So when a player has to cross the street to get to something, he would have a mortal fear to cross that street. He would do everything he can to climb above the danger. And if he falls down the danger, it should be an intense feeling of fear that's nerve-wracking, like in Alien Isolation a bit. And the next thing I would tune down is reduce the ability of a player to climb. Make it much more difficult for the player to get away from danger. So as I mentioned earlier with the chase situation, let's say I'm standing here and out of the blue I quickly have to get away from zombies. Now, as I mentioned earlier, I can just twist my mouse, pick any direction almost directly, and I can start running, and I will be able to climb anything I want and get away from danger. That shouldn't be the case. For example, climbing this here should take serious effort and barely function, because let's say you're trained, you can pull yourself up a ledge like that, but it would take a lot more effort in real life if you're not really used to doing that. And then jumping ability should be reduced, so you really can't do far jumps, and remove the whole skill tree too. Like no upgrading of jumping skills, nothing of that. So let's say, okay, now you're up here on this thing, and zombies are surrounding the car, and one touch by a zombie and you're gone completely. Or maybe two touches, okay, we can balance that. What do you do now? You have to think, okay, where can I climb up to be safe without zombies chasing me or not getting to me? And if there's some zombies that can run that would also do is add some zombies that can run as fast as you or faster than you, and limit the player's ability to jog without stamina loss. Now I'm walking, okay? Now I'm jogging. And it takes no stamina. Well, if I press shift and sprint, that takes stamina. The problem is most zombies cannot actually chase you if you just regular jog like this. That should be changed. So you're basically sitting on a car roof, like in the classic Day of the Dead movie from 2004. Was it 2004? Where they had the first zombie movie. I don't think it wasn't the first. I think 28 Days Later was the first one that introduced running zombies. Then you're sitting here, and you should have a mortal fear just trying to get to the next car roof. Because one zombie touch, they get you. And the next thing we'll do is make the character lose all his progress from the previous save, like in Alien Isolation. Because currently in this game, if you die, you still keep your XP and everything. Okay, you lose some XP if you're doing the night running thing. But there's a fear of loss. So there's a setback if you don't make it. So it's more a survival experience. Okay, so then you make it to the next roof, and then you can't just run up that pole, because it would take some extreme parkour skills and fitness to get to that. And I think that's a mistake that game developers often make, is that they think players want to be this all-powerful figure that gets better and better and can do anything he wants. And I don't think in a survival game, and zombie games should by definition be survival games, as in a sense that there's an overwhelming danger from which you have to get away from. So players should be limited in their abilities and have a sense of fear all the time. And I think this could be like changed by changing some variables in the game, the way how much damage zombies make, how fast some of them can run, and limit the parkour, basically the distances at which players can grab ledges and all that. And I think it would improve the gameplay, and I think it would give players, I think, the sense of danger that they're missing currently. And I think that's the critical part of this game. Everything in this game is great, except being scared of zombies. That's not functioning in this game. And I probably put something in the corner of the screen. On SteamDB, you can actually see the amount of concurrent players of Dying Light. And at least for PC, the amount of players of Dying Light 2 right now, the concurrent, which means at the current daytime playing players, is approximately the same as Dying Light 1. Which is weird, because Dying Light 1 is, how much? It's probably 8 years old by now, almost. Which means there's almost, okay, there's probably console numbers are different, but Dying Light 1 is giving players something that Dying Light 2 is missing, I think. And I think it's the whole volatile thing being really dangerous in the first game. So I hope this video wasn't too long, or I felt like I had to explain it in length like this. Because I think it's a great zombie game, just the zombie part needs to be more zombie, I hope this makes sense.